What's up YouTube, Dale here from Zephyr, and today I am bringing you an update to Red Eyes Black Metal Dragon. Now the reason I call it Black Metal Dragon is it does involve the Metal Morph engine. Now only very small amounts of the Metal Morph engine, but the idea is that you're able to set up some negates, you're able to set up a bit more protection for Red Eyes in general, and it allows you to be a bit more aggressive as well. With all of that out of the way, I'm going to dive headfirst into the profile, show you what we've got, explain why we've got it. So please make sure you smash that like button, hit that notification bell, and subscribe so you don't miss out on any more upcoming content. I'll show you a demo slide deck at the end of the video as well, so you have a bit of an idea of what to put into it. I'll also talk you through some other alternatives if you don't own certain cards, and then what you could put in its place. Diving headfirst into the profile, of course, we are going to be rocking up with 3 Red Eyes Black Dragon. Now, you could technically play 2 if you want to, but when you're comparing Blue Eyes, Dark Magician, and Red Eyes is probably one of the ones right now that is desperate need of a bit of an update, but can circle through all 3 Red Eyes very easily, as you do have cards that will send it from the deck to the grave. You'll have cards that will be able to revive it from the graveyard. So there are just more uses of being able to have 3 Red Eyes Black Dragons in the deck, but it's entirely up to you. You could flex it down to 2 should you need to. We've then got the 1 Dark Magician. The idea behind this one is you need to play it in order to utilize your Red Eyes Fusion to its max capabilities to get you that Red Eyes Dark Dragoon that will allow you to destroy 2 and then burn your opponent 2 times, as well as having that nice negate. Now, Dragoon is not our go-to card for this deck. It's one of them follow-up cards you'll search out. Once you've already presented your field, you then search yourself out a Red Eyes Fusion for the next turn and then use it as your OTK enabler. If you do hard open it or get your direct access to it without needing to go through a monster, first off, maybe you're looking at something like your Red Eyes Insight, that's when you can use it as your OTK enabler, just because you've got the ability to destroy twice, burn twice, and then attack for the final amount of damage. We've then got 3 Red Eyes Black Meteor Dragon. The benefit of something like this is it lets you send a level 5 or higher normal monster from the hand or deck to the graveyard to special summon it, and then increase its level by 1. And the reason that this is so beneficial is when you skip ahead a little bit to the Red Eyes cards, or being the Metal Morph cards, being able to get to the brand new Red Eyes Metal Claw Dragon is actually really easy, as all you need to do is send 1 face down card that you control to the graveyard and special summon it as a level 7. So this one goes increased to a level 7 and it will send a Red Eyes to the graveyard, meaning that straight away you can summon down your Red Eyes Metal Claw, then you can overlay both of these to get you into your Red Eyes Flare, and then build on from there. Not to mention the floating effect of this card, or the effect when it's on the field, is it allows you to use max Metal Morphs to turn their set, and if you have a max Metal Morph in the graveyard, it does allow you to then add 1 back from the grave to the or from the deck to the hand, which can be very useful, because then it means that you could tribute off the Red Eyes that you bring back with your Red Eyes Flare Metal, and then go into your Red Eyes Black Full Metal Dragon during your opponent's turn. So you've got a card that is constantly going to keep burning your opponent, and then you've got an Omni Negate in the form of the Red Eyes Black Full Metal Dragon. As your ideal normal summon for the deck, you are going to be rocking 3 Black Metal Dragon. Now this is the best card for the starter of the deck because you get to target a Red Eyes monster you control, equip this card from the hand or field to it, and it gains 600 attack. So if you want to save your normal summon, that's when you're going to be able to save your normal summon for something like your Metal Illusionist, but we're not going to be leaning into this card as heavily. We're actually saving it as this will be our ideal one, that's kind of our backup. And the idea behind this one is as long as it is sent from the field to the graveyard, you get to add a Red Eyes card from the deck to the hand. The benefit of something like that is it allows you to get to your Red Eyes Black Metal Dragon, which will work you into your Max Metal Morph. Or of course, if you already have Max Metal Morph, you work your way into the Red Eyes Metal Claw, and then that will then allow you to set up the ability to get this card turn 0, which is really important, or technically your first turn. On top of this as well, to make this so easily link-offable, you go into a Striker Dragon, and the benefit of something like Striker Dragon as a bit of a preview is you also play the 1 Boot Sector launch, because when you search this card out, you can just set it, and then that sets you up your play. So straight away, off of 1 card, you can get your direct access to your Red Eyes Metal Claw Dragon, and if you are able to get a Max Metal Morph in rotation or in the grind state or anything like that, you'll be able to start using it turn 1 as well. For the final Red Eyes monster before I move into the Max Metal Morph cards after I've done the Red Eyes cards is of course your Red Eyes Darkness Metal Dragon. Now I'm actually going to jump ahead a little bit just so you can see the other Red Eyes cards that you're going to be searching off of the back of your Black Metal Dragon. The Red Eyes Metal Claw and the Red Eyes Full Metal. Now I currently only own 2 copies of this. I'm tempted to be playing 3 of this. The reason that I've not got 3 is, like I've already mentioned, I only own 2 copies of it. But to kind of counteract that place, I am playing 3 Incoming Machine and 2 Max Metal Morph, but I'll talk about these a little bit later on. The idea behind this one is the brand new one. It lets you activate Metal Morph traps the turn they were set. You can only use each of the following effects once per turn. You get to send 1 face down card you control to the graveyard to special summon this card from the hand. If this card is normal or specialed and you have Max Metal Morph in your field or graveyard, you get to add a Metal Morph trap from the deck to the hand, deck or graveyard to the hand, so it will allow you to recycle the one you've just sent, which is really kind of cool. And then we've got the Red Eyes Black Full Metal. So it can't be normal summon to set, and it must be special summon with Max Metal Morph that was activated by tributing a level 5 or higher dragon, which is incredibly easy to do in this deck. You can also reveal this card in the hand to set a Metamorph trap from the deck. So if you need to get to the Metamorph trap because you already have access to this, or you already have access to this and use your Black Metal Dragon to get you to this, you've just got consistency to kind of bounce around all over the place to get you access to the trap and also get you access to the claw, which will allow you to use the trap turn 1 and kind of build on from there to get this guy onto the field. Now, the reason you want to get this to the field is when your opponent activates a card or effect, you get a quick effect, negate the activation, and then you can inflict damage to your opponent equal to the original attack of one attack position monster your opponent controls, which is really, really important. The other Red Eyes cards, which we are playing, 3 Red Eyes Insight. So it lets you send a Red Eyes monster from your hand or deck to the graveyard to then add a Red Eyes spell or trap from the deck to the hand. The benefit of something like this is if you were to activate this like straight away and you send your Red Eyes Black Full Metal Dragon and your opponent then goes draw on Lockbird, the benefit of something like that is incoming machine lets you add back from the deck, add from the deck or the grave. So this will then allow you to actually add back your Red Eyes Black Full Metal, which allows you to play through draw, which can be quite useful because then this one could be revealed to then set a Metamorph trap, and then if you've hard opened up your Red Eyes Black Metal Claw, you can send that Max Metamorph and still work your way into this on the draw on Lockbird. Ideally, you're going to want to be adding any Red Eyes spell or trap from the deck to the hand. So the card you're going to want to add will be ideally your Red Eyes Fusion as a follow-up. But if you're going first, you're probably not going to search this one out if you've hard opened up or had direct access to your Black Meteor Dragon, because you can banish this from the graveyard to search out your Red Eyes Fusion, and it kind of saves you having this stuck in the hand. The other card you can search out is the Return of the Red Eyes. So if you control a Red Eyes monster except Red Eyes B Chick, you get to target a normal monster in your graveyard and special summon it. If this card in a possession is destroyed by an opponent's card effect and sent to the graveyard, you get to target a Red Eyes monster in your grave and special summon it. So the benefit of something like that is your Red Eyes monsters now start to include your Metal Claw Dragon and, of course, your Full Metal Dragon, as long as it has been correctly special summoned as well. Because it says it must first be special summoned with Max Metamorph, so as long as you've done that, then it can be summoned. But if you haven't done it before and you're trying to bring this back from the grave, you can't do it unless it has been summoned through Max Metamorph. So that's it for the Red Eyes cards. Moving on to the Metal Morph cards. Of course, we've already talked about the Black Claw and we've talked about the Full Metal. The other one we're playing is the Metal Flame Swordsman. So this one can't be normal summoned or set. You're very rarely, if ever, going to be special summoning this. You're mainly going to want to be doing this to reveal this card in the hand and then shuffle this card into the deck. And this allows you to add a card that mentions Max Metamorph from the deck to the hand except itself. So if you need a starter, you can work your way into the Metal Illusionist. If you need to get to either of your Red Eyes because you've already opened up your Black Metal Dragon, you can get to that missing piece, which will work you into Max Metamorph. Speaking of which, we are on the 1 Metal Illusionist. So as I've said, we don't want to lean into this so much. I'd rather the Black Metal be our normal summon, but this one can still be quite useful for you. You increase this card's level by 4 during your opponent's turn only, and you can only use each of the following effects once per turn. If it is normal or special, you get to set a Metamorph trap from the deck. Then if Max Metamorph is in your graveyard, you get to draw a card. But you can declare one other monster type, and this card becomes that type until the end of your opponent's turn. So during your opponent's turn, what you're going to be doing is making this a level 5. You're going to declare it to be a dragon, and then that means when you activate the Max Metamorph that you have set, you can trip it off your Metal Illusionist and get you into your Red Eyes Full Metal. We are on 2 Max Metamorph. Arguably, you could play 1 Max Metamorph and then one of the other ones, which I currently don't have to my hand, but I do have an old proxy that I had before, the Flame Coat in Metamorph. It's entirely up to you which you want to go for. I go with 2 of these because I don't mind hard opening up one of them if I've got so many different ways to get to my Red Eyes cards, and it just gives me that ability to use it multiple times should I need to. Then we are on 3 Incoming Machine. This card, add a monster that mentions Max Metamorph or a Metamorph trap from the deck or graveyard to the hand. If you control a Metamorph trap, you can banish this card from the graveyard to then target a defense position monster your opponent controls and change it to face-up attack position. You can only use each effect once per turn. The idea is this is just here to search out any of your Max Metamorph monsters that you might need to, and the benefit of something like this is this can become either the Flame Swordsman, it can become the Red Eyes Claw, it can become Illusionist, and it can also become the Red Eyes Black Metal. So you've got that balance of this can be any of them, rather than maxing out on the other monsters themselves directly. This can become either or, which is really useful. Then we've got the 1 Brick of the Boot set to launch, just because, like I've said, you go into Striker Dragon, you search this, you've got that guaranteed set card that you want to send. It's not an ideal scenario, but it does just provide you with free discard fodder or free send fodder. The 1 for 1, because getting into your Black Metal Dragon or Illusionist can be quite useful off the back of this, and rather than playing 2 Illusionists, which might get a little bit more cloggy, you're basically using that space of the second one for a 1 for 1. Then for the hand traps, we are on Druid Swarm, Magnamoo, and Bulldrake. You can take these out if you want to. The cards that I'd be considering right now for this format will either be Droll and Lockbird, Ghost Bell and Haunted Mansion, or Effect Veiler, depending on what you have access to. You can also take out your Molchummy Fluoruses for any of those cards that I've just mentioned. This is like the best hand trap for going second, just because it will either give you so much advantage and your opponent plays into it, or your opponent passes their turn with a suboptimal field, and that's when you can present to build your field and maybe even push for an OTK, or just push them in a position where they can't then come back. So if you don't have access to these or the Bestials, you could sacrifice the Druid Swarm for something like a Saronir if you wanted to. I would still play the Magnemute. I still think it's really quite useful, and the Bald Rate is just another aggressive option that could help you out, but it really comes down to what you have access to, and you can adapt it to whatever you see fit. Then we've got triple Ash Blossom and Joy Spring, and then triple Infinite Impermanence. Pretty standard on the hand trap lineup. As already mentioned, you have a bit of flexibility. I feel that Ghost Bell could be a really good card for this upcoming format, especially with the Allied Code Talker. Being able to Ghost Bell that, trying to revive the Link monsters can be very, very useful and can really catch your opponent off guard. Moving into the extra deck. So for the extra deck, we are on 2 Red Eyes Flare Metal Dragon. Some builds do play 3 of this. The reason I'm not playing 3 of this is I wanted to open up the door to some other rank 7 options in the form of Big Eye, the Dragon Doom Rider, and the Mecha Phantom Beast Draco Sack. Now the Draco Sack is in here as a draw engine because the extra is quite flexible. If you don't want to play this draw engine that I'm going to show you in a second, you would take this out. This could then become a 3rd Flare Metal, and then the other cards that you would then be able to free up should you want to would be the Heat Soul, 2 Link Spiders, and the G Golem Crystal Heart. So you'd open up your extra deck with 5 spaces, which could become super poly targets. They could become a Ultimate Slayer target. It is entirely up to you. But the benefit of something like this, what you do is when you make Draco Sack, because it's so easy to get 2 level 7s on the field now, kind of reiterating when I go back to wherever it may be, your Red Eyes Black Meteor Dragon and your Red Eyes Claw, or of course if you do get direct access to a Red Eyes Black Dragon, it's still quite easy to do so. But the benefit of something like that is you work your way into the Draco Sack plus 2 tokens, you turn the 2 tokens into the Link Spiders, you turn both the Link Spiders into the G Golem Crystal Heart, you would then use G Golem Crystal Heart to revive one of the Link Spiders, you then have 2 Cyverse monsters, one being Earth, one being Water, you put both of these together and you get yourself into a Heat Soul. You pay 1,000 life points, you draw 1 card during your turn. If you decide to leave Heat Soul on the field, it means that during your opponent's turn, you can activate Heat Soul to draw another card. Yes, it does cost you 2,000 life points in total, but those 2 more cards, when you're trying to go through to certain hand traps, could be quite useful for you, and that's where Ghost Bell might be a bit more of a beneficial sacrifice for you, alongside Effect Veiler, because you don't really want to be drawing into Chummy or Imperm. If you draw into like a Veiler or a Bell, it's going to be more effective under Heat Soul. Entirely up to you if you want to do that. You can play some other cards in here, so keep in mind that you can also play stuff like IP Masquerena, which could also come off the back of Draco Sack plus a token or anything else you might need to. It's entirely up to you on what you'd want to work your way into. As long as you don't use another Link monster, you'll be good. The other cards we are playing is the 1 Super Star Slayer Typhon. The generic Link monsters that we are playing is the 1 Striker Dragon. Like I said, turn your Black Metal Dragon into Striker and then work your way off the Black Metal to either search you out your Full Metal, your Metal Morph Metal, or of course the Claw. The Hieratic Seals and SP Little Knight. And then the only 2 fusion monsters we are playing is the 1 Meteor Black Comet Dragon, obviously coming off the back of your Red Eyes Fusion, and of course your Red Eyes Dark Dragoon. Chances are you're going to be making Dragoon more consistently than the Black Meteor Comet, but this Comet is possible to be made, and that could give you another option to kind of help burn your opponent down. In a previous version of this deck, I was playing the Nadir package. You can do if you wanted to. I feel that the extra deck space is free enough to do that, but ideally what you'd be working towards is you'd play the Nadir package and you basically just set up the Winterlock with your infield, but it does play into Dry and Lockbird a little bit more than the other version, or this version. Moving on to the side deck. So for the side deck, pretty standard on this one. Most people will be on Artifact Lancers and Drolls. Whether they're going to be in the main or the side is entirely up to you. I am currently still testing out deck lockdown in my side decks right now. I just feel that, especially with Mitsurugi most recently winning YCS, the most recent YCS, Providence, a lot of searching is going to happen, and being able to do all of your searching and then activate deck lockdown, stopping your opponent special summoning from the deck can also be quite useful, and stopping them searching can be quite damaging. And then we play 2 Triple Tactics Frost. You can make this free if you wanted to. I just wanted to open up the options for more targets. So for the targets of this one, I've got Destructed Daruma Cannon, which could very easily become Dimension Barrier. Evenly Matched, just something I wanted to try it out. I think it's a really good card. I just feel that it's one of the ones that a lot of people aren't expecting, so it could be quite useful for you. Artifact Sanctum, True Tactic Talents, and of course the 1 Harpy's Feather Duster. Adapt this to your environment, adapt this to what you have access to. If you don't have access to Thrust, then what you would do is you would cherry pick the cards that you think are going to be the most effective for your environment. If you feel you need more Harpy's Feather Dusters, then you would take out 2 Thrusts, and that's your Lightning Storms. And then, of course, you could take out your Destructive Daruma Cannon for a D barrier. You would take out Evenly for an artifact, another Sanctum if you wanted to, or you'd go 3 Sanctum, or you'd go 3 D barrier. It really is up to you. I feel that D barrier is not going to be that effective in this format for the pure fact that, yes, of course, unless you're facing pure Mitsurugi, the chances are you call D barrier and you hit them with a Ritual Lock, they will still then just shift into XYZs. So it kind of doesn't give you the most lockdown option possible for you, but it is something you could consider. So that's it for the entire profile. Hopefully this has given you a bit of an idea on your own updated build. I just thought this was kind of a nice modernized version of Red Eyes. I feel that this is a version I could definitely see Joey playing, which is really kind of cool. And it's definitely a version I can see being utilized. Like, unless you want to start using Primites, I feel this is a cheaper version that you can build and put together, and I do think it's very effective. Like, I love the Red Eyes Metal Claw. I have ordered my 3rd copy. I'm tempted, as I do more and more testing, to bump this up to 3. We'll see how that goes on consistency-wise, as if I need to add more or not. But other than that, I think it's a really kind of cool deck. I love how it all synergizes. I love how it all works. I love how it all looks as well. Yeah, and it's a really, really fun deck to play around with. Anyway, any questions at all, by all means, put them in the comments down below. I will be more than happy to answer them, as always. But for now, stay safe, and of course, happy dueling.